Hi, I'm Rosie with InnerBrilliance Coaching, and I'm excited to welcome you to this interview series I call Be Perfectly You. And it's based on my signature program. And of course, it does not mean being perfect. It's actually about being the real you so that can radiate and shine out and attract all that you desire, but in a much more natural way. So I want to quickly introduce you to Dr. Jessica Hehmeyer, our guest today. Hi, Jessica. Jessie, I love calling her Jessie by her nickname.
Hey, Rosie, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. It's such a pleasure to be here with you.
Oh, I love it. I love you taking time out from the warm weather to chat with us here. So I thought I'd share a little bit of background on me and then tell you more about Dr. Hehmeyer. So I've been a certified life and career coach for over 14 years. And previous to that, I was in marketing and advertising for 18 years. And now I work with high achieving coaching clients to help them get results while feeling happier every step of the way. So I'm excited about this interview series because we're going to be meeting with a variety of experts to help you feel like you could have that success and happiness in your overall life, work, health, love, relationships, you name it. And like I said, today we're meeting with Dr. Jessica Hehmeyer, who I've known for years, and I've been lucky enough to partner with her. We met through a wellness center, and we started doing some speaking engagements together, and she has become a trusted advisor for my health, and I'm so lucky to call her also a dear friend. So I thought I'd invite her here today to tell us a little bit more about what she does and how she could help high achievers. So with that, I'm going to give a little background on you, Jessie, and then we'll go from there.
Perfect.
So Dr. Hehmeyer's launched Well Empowered. That's the name of her organization. And she had one goal in mind. And this is to produce your must-have health outcomes using data-driven natural medicine. And she explains that when you don't feel your best or look your best, you can't be your best. She knows it's not just about a number, right, on the scale or just digestion. It's about what becomes possible when you have that confidence and peace of mind. And it's about you contributing your unique gift to the world and inspiring others to do the same. And you know, what I love is that I feel like you really walk your talk. So I'm excited to have you here. And if you could just explain a little bit more about what you do, that would be great.
Sure, yes. So, as you mentioned, I practice data-driven natural medicine. And really, what that means is I work with people to identify and address the root cause of their health challenges. And that could be that's everything from digestive distress, constipation, bloating, diarrhea, to weight gain and a real commitment to master weight optimization rather than riding the weight loss roller coaster, to hormones, making sure they're in the optimal range for you to feel your best and be your best, to energy. And through gathering the information we need, both in terms of labs, so standard lab tests, as well as specialty lab tests, whether that's something like a food sensitivity test or assessing the adrenal function or the microbiome. Those are all examples of specialty lab tests. I get that information and we use that information. I use that information to create a targeted and customized plan of action designed to address the root cause of symptoms and ultimately have you produce the outcomes that allow you to thrive.
Mm-hmm. And I love it. I love how you take data-driven, you know, the idea is it's based on science and there's that natural medicine component and the combination of the two, especially, and the piece about going to the root cause. To me, I've always wondered, why aren't we looking at that first, right? Versus, I think sometimes we're looking at the outside, like, let me just lose weight, but we don't know what's really causing or any sort of health distress, right? Let's look at that root cause and solve it there. I also love how you talked about your energy. I always talk to my clients about energy management, and I think that's even more important than time management. And I say that because I talk about energy management in different ways, right? Like one could be about being productive. And so one way to really be productive is how you set up your calendar. Another way is to be healthy and thriving, right? And then I know that I feel like you have so much energy, and whenever we're together, I really feel it and notice it. And so I appreciate that so much about your program and your mindset.
Yeah, thank you. I agree completely, right? When we can optimize our energy and then harness our energy, just like, you work so closely with people so that they can be targeted in the way they're directing their energy and using their energy. I mean, it really makes the biggest difference. It really does allow us each individually to contribute what there is for us to contribute, and ultimately really be present to the gifts of this life, which is what it's all about.
Absolutely. I talk about that too, channeling and harnessing that energy, right? So it's directed. And it's like you don't have all the time in the world. So how do we make sure we're making the most of it? So,
Mhm.
and what I wanted to ask you next, which I think kind of builds on what you're saying, is how do you feel like your approach helps high achievers?
Yeah, well, so first of all, most high achievers are data driven
Mhm.
naturally, right? They got where are going by, first of all, identifying what achievement looks like, right? Having a real measurement of success and then tracking their progress towards that outcome. And then, of course, once they get there, looking at what's next. But as that relates to my approach, it is very similar, right? We gather the data, the real numbers that reflect your current health status, as well as the gap between where you are and where you're headed, and use all of that to understand where the points of leverage are and translate that into action, real action that creates the outcomes. We all know information is great, but information by itself does not change things. Actions do. And so high achievers typically are very data driven. So we get that data. I'm really a big believer that people need to understand what their labs are telling them. What are they saying about their body? So I spend a lot of time with people reviewing labs so that they can understand what these numbers mean as it relates to their health concerns, their symptoms, or their objectives, as well as helping them understand why the actions that they need to take are going to be effective. Now, guiding them with that plan of action we've created, the next step is bringing it to life. And high achievers, that's really where they thrive, right? They're able to translate information into action. That's how they became high achievers to begin
Mhm.
with. And then ultimately, as we move ahead, not only do I want people to be feeling better, but we're also going to circle back and get that data again. We're going to gather the information again so that we can see the objective evidence of our progress. Again, I want people feeling great, but I also want to see the numbers that reflect success.
It makes total sense. And I know when I work with you, I just appreciate how you explain things to me. So it's easy to understand, right? There's the science, there's the data, the results, and then let me explain it in a way and give you the solutions you need to, like you said, kind of fill in that gap, right? To get to that health outcome. So I just appreciate your approach so much and what you do. And I also appreciate what you're saying about taking action. I have so many clients in my coaching business. So when I first start with them, they're like, I always say, they know how to get results, right? Like these people, they can get results. Sometimes they're just going maybe for the wrong goal, or their approach is kind of draining them and exhausting them, right? So what I think is awesome about working with you or any sort of partner is when they're taking action, it's really meaningful and relevant because they've gotten clear on what the outcome is. In your case, the health outcome should be,
Mhm.
right? And then you can create that strategic plan. And to your point, what I'm hearing is refine it along the way, right? Like, oh, what's working? What do we need to do differently? And it's a whole process. So that makes a lot of sense. I know you kind of just shared your approach. If you had to say, you know, what like at a high level, what someone does with you, or like just 3 quick steps, like, okay, someone contacts you, then what else happens?
Yeah. So the first step is that we schedule a complimentary 30-minute consultation, virtual consultation. And during that time period, what I want to know is, what are your must have health outcomes? And one of the reasons why I want to know that is because I want to be able to fundamentally answer the question, can we produce those outcomes together? If
Hmm.
the answer is anything less than an emphatic yes, then it's not going to be the right fit and I'll direct someone elsewhere if that's the case. But assuming the answer is yes, then we're going to start to talk about, okay, well, what would it take to get those outcomes? Typically, it's about 6 months of um, engagement, of more in-depth engagement, meaning about twice a month, sometimes a little bit more of meetings. And, of course, I want to give people all of the information they need in order to make a good choice, right? Logistically, how much time, timeline, financial commitment. And then together we figure out, okay, is this a great thing? Is this going to be a good fit to work together? If the answer is yes, then we proceed with the first official appointment. And over the course of working together, our first step is creating your data driven plan of action, which takes about a month to create. And then it's bringing that plan of action to life. I like to think about that like crossing the monkey bars. Everybody crosses the monkey bars differently. And so part of our work together is figuring out how to help you get across the monkey bars and also figure out how to recover when you fall. Because if you're crossing the monkey bars, you're going to fall. That's one of the rules. There's nothing wrong with falling. We just want to help you, first of all, get back on the monkey bars quickly and identify what had you fall in the first place. Because ultimately, those become, when you fall becomes a learning opportunity so that you know how to master that, move when you encounter it again. And, then towards the end of our engagement together, we're going to do those labs again, collect the data again, and ultimately send you off with a plan of action and with the strategies and information you need to sustain the outcomes you've produced.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And it takes several months to really see transformation. I think that's the important thing to remember, right? To see those results and celebrating the little wins along the way so that you can stay motivated and ultimately see the outcomes you really want. So thank you for sharing all of that. And I know you said you would be happy to offer the InnerBrilliance family a little something special. So I thank you for that. Can you share what that would be?
Absolutely. So anyone who makes it my way by way of InnerBrilliance, you will receive 10% off the first month. And I offer discounts when people pay for the 6 months in full. In typically that's 10%, but if you're part of the InnerBrilliance community, it's 15%.
Thank you so much. That's so generous of you. And I know people would totally gain so many gifts from working with you. So I'm excited. I got to introduce you to everyone. Would you like to share just a couple ways they can get a hold of you?
Sure, absolutely. So you can email we, at wellempowered.com, or you can text 312-967-8000. My wonderful assistant, Allie, is happy to help you schedule a 30-minute complimentary consultation. If you're in the social media world and you'd like to get to know a little bit more about me and my approach, you can follow me on Instagram at Well Empowered and on Facebook at YOU Well Empowered.
Perfect. Thank you so much. It's always wonderful to see you. And thank you for taking the time today to chat with us.
Such a pleasure as always to be with you, Rosie, and thank you for welcoming me to join your community.
Oh, yes, of course. All right. Take care. Chat soon.
Take care. Bye-bye.